Ladies and gentlemen, Violet Games here. Today, I wanted to give you my initial impressions on Fallout 76. So, I really do feel like Fallout 76 is going to be one or two things. It's either going to be really amazing and fun, and we're going to get a lot of hours out of it, or, alternatively, it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire, microtransaction, exploitative, grindy piece of shit. I'm not even joking. That is the dichotomy. It's going to be one of those two things, and I'm really hoping that it's more of a positive experience as well, because guys, I'm going to be honest, I really love the Fallout universe. I have a strong bias for it. I love the idea. I love the quirkiness of it. I love how it'll tell a lighthearted story or take itself not too seriously, but then also show you grim, harsh realities at the same time. I love that in the Fallout franchise. And that's one of the things that's actually really positive about Fallout 76, by the way, which is they really seem to retain that environmental storytelling, and that seems to be actually the primary focus since there aren't any NPCs in the game. So I actually think that's a really big positive point. By the way, I think it is worth mentioning that I've been digging through a lot of Fallout 76 content. I haven't actually gotten hands-on with the game. However, I wanted to give you guys my initial impressions just because, why not? I wanted to make a YouTube video today. Don't judge me. I wanted to do something. But yeah. So what are my thoughts about Fallout 76? What are the pros and cons? Well, I already gave you the pro about the environmental storytelling being really, really good. This was really revealed to me on Oxhorn's channel. I watched his reaction to his own gameplay, and he explained that he was actually optimistic for the game because the environmental storytelling was really good. And he actually made some episodes where he went through some of the areas and showed off that environmental storytelling basically flawlessly. And I was like, wow, this is really good world building. I really enjoyed the environmental storytelling that I saw. So I feel like that would be a really good reason to play Fallout 76, is for that environmental storytelling, just to put emphasis on it now that I've discussed it at length. Another positive thing about Fallout 76, I'll be real, the graphics look really, really good. And I'm really excited to play this game in 4K. I'm worried about having to record this for YouTube because, as you guys know, I'm running on the Elgato 1080p, which will downscale the resolution on my monitor if I record with it. And it's not pretty. I want to see that 4K because that lighting is so beautiful. The way they have West Virginia laid out in the swamp area, oh my gosh. I loved all of, like, the fog and shit. They really turned up the graphics in a big way in this game, and that is worth mentioning. Now, where should I move from here? I mean, let's get on to some cons, though. I have to call out some of the things, some of the glaring issues. First off, the fact that they have announced from the get-go there will be microtransactions does turn me off slightly, because when you put microtransactions into your game that early, that means you made that game with microtransactions in mind. And more often than not in these games, that ends up impacting the gameplay in some way, or impacting your experience in some way. Maybe you're going to feel pressure to get these, maybe you aren't. I really hope that it's not exploitative and it's somewhat balanced. And overall, if the game is fun, I can't really complain about it, to be perfectly honest. If the gameplay at its core is the salient point of the game, I honestly could not mind my microtransactions that were purely cosmetic. Though they said initially, which kind of makes me worry a bit. So do keep that in mind. Hopefully they don't do something that scummy, but you know, when you build your game off the premise of microtransactions, I have to put, you know, my eyebrow up. I have to raise an eyebrow and be like, what the hell? Another thing that's kind of negative about Fallout 76 is that this game has a potential to be very, very grindy. There's a lot of MMO mechanics that are present in Fallout 76, and that adds value to certain things and kind of could potentially devalue your experience. So you kind of need to collect junk in Fallout 76. It's a part of the gameplay loop, and then I guess you use that junk to craft shit, and that's something they want you to do ad nauseum. Guns are leveled, but the thing about the guns being leveled is it might actually be a good thing. And the reason I say that is because in Fallout 4, I loved the laser rifle. I fucking love the way it shoots. I love the rate of fire, how hair triggery it was. You could spam the trigger, put a lot of lasers downrange as fast as possible. I really enjoyed that weapon. However, late game, it became completely useless, and like I couldn't kill the enemies I needed to kill. So it became a huge problem for me. So I feel like the leveling of the guns could actually take that issue away, and if you're able to craft your own weapons that are leveled and scaled to you, then you can constantly have a consistent arsenal based on your skills, and that would be really awesome. You could stick to a theme on your character, or you can just keep using that weapon that you like, and I enjoy that aspect of the game. Backtracking a little bit to the positive notes, though, the character customization is actually outstanding from what I saw. Now, unfortunately, the character builder is the exact same from Fallout 4 as far as I can tell. Maybe the presets are better, maybe they aren't. I didn't really get a good look at all of them myself, and until I get into that character menu, I can't really judge it for myself. But it's pretty much the same as Fallout 4 as far as I'm concerned. However, there is a really good feature that's been implemented into this game. You can basically change the gender, the race, and the total appearance of your character at will whenever you want at the main menu of the game. And I think that is fantastic. You guys don't know how many times I've restarted playthroughs and RPGs just to make my character look slightly cooler. Like, I am really OCD about it, and I love having a really cool aesthetic. Additionally, the way they're handling their cosmetics in-game is that if you want to keep your cosmetics separate from your in-game stats, you can. By putting layered armor pieces underneath like certain outfits, you can maintain a certain look or aesthetic, but actually have practical stats in the game. I think this layer of personalization is really, really good, and more RPGs need to implement it. I really loved in Marvel's Spider-Man when I could actually rip the power off one suit and put it on another suit that I thought looked cooler. I always could play the Spider-Man that I wanted, and it added that little personal touch to my gameplay. I think that's why that's a really good feature in Fallout 76. But really, the biggest positive note for me was the builds. Now, unfortunately, I do have to bring up the last negative that's on my mind, and that is role-playing is completely demolished. If you're that type of person that likes to role-play in these games, unless you have a dedicated party that is willing to facilitate that, and you guys don't run into anyone else who's immersion breaking, it's not really going to happen. Anyways, getting back to my previous point. Sorry about that. The builds in Fallout 76. I only saw I think maybe 60 perk cards in total. I don't remember half of them, but a lot of them weren't just perks like increase the damage of this by 10% or something like that. It actually kind of had some of that, but there was a lot of role-playing perks and stuff as well. And also the way these perks are going to be implemented is that they're going to be interchangeable. I really like this because it means in, you know, the late game, we're going to have a lot of different loadouts to choose from, and I think there might even be alternative ways of attaining certain perk cards as you progress through the game. That's really fun and innovative and interesting and new. If you guys didn't know, the Fallout 4 build system was probably the worst it's ever been. Like, it was literally a fucking debauchery. Every character kind of wound up being the same regardless of what you did. It felt really weird. Certain builds were absurdly overpowered, like Melee Blitz Ninja in Fallout 4 was just stupid. Like, what the hell was that? The builds in Fallout 76 seem to incorporate the multiplayer as well in a really effective way, and I enjoy that as well. You know, speccing into charisma actually impacting cooperative play makes so much sense from a design standpoint. I can't fucking talk. Sorry. That was pretty funny, actually. So anyways, guys, those are my initial impressions on Fallout 76. All in all, to conclude and wrap everything up, positives and negatives, I think that I'm optimistic about Fallout 76, but there's a caveat to this. I'm not excited because I'm going to view this game as a traditional Fallout game. In fact, I'm actually looking forward to this game as kind of a replacement for Borderlands. I've been dying to play a Borderlands game in quite a long time, and a lot of the mechanics that are in Borderlands are kind of in this game. I really do like cooperative shooters where we can just fight the environment, so hopefully the AI in the PvE is really, really well done. Fingers crossed for that. Hopefully it's not a bunch of level gaining nonsense either, but I want a game like this. I want a cooperative game that I can play with my friends on a casual basis, not really have to focus on PvP, just explore a world and like trying to talk with each other and having a more condensed multiplayer experience. And I think Fallout 76 is trying to be less like an MMO in that regard. So I'm optimistic about this game, but I don't think you should go into this game anticipating it being another Fallout game, like a traditional Fallout game, is what I'm saying. So don't go into it expecting Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. You're just not going to get it here. But we're getting something entirely new, and that's something to be excited for. I don't get why you wouldn't be at least curious about this game. Anyways, this is Violent Games signing off. I'm clearly losing my mind at the end of this video.